Ladies and gentlemen, tech enthusiasts and aspiring developers, welcome back once again in our YouTube channel. Today we are continuing the previous topics and adding more on the concepts of DevOps and SDLC integration and how DevOps principles and practices align with and enhance the SDLC process. Previously, we discussed on case studies of successful SDLC implementation. So, without further delay, let's have a fruitful session.
DevOps, a portmanteau of development and operations, is a set of practices, principles, and cultural philosophies aimed at enhancing collaboration between software development and IT operations teams. It aims to streamline the software delivery process, improve efficiency, and foster a culture of continuous integration, continuous delivery, CCD, and rapid iteration. Now let's discuss about the principles of DevOps, which are really very important. You guys are with me, right? So let's get started. Firstly, we have automation. DevOps simply automates repetitive tasks in the software delivery process to increase efficiency and reduce errors. It uses automated scripts to build, test, and deploy code changes. For instance, automating the provisioning of infrastructure using infrastructure as code IAC tools like Terraform. Secondly, we have collaboration. It simply promotes collaboration and communication between development and operations teams. For example, holding regular cross-functional team meetings to discuss project status and address issues together, fostering a culture of shared responsibility. Similarly, we have continuous integration principle. DevOps integrates code changes into a shared repository frequently and automatically, ensuring that new code is tested and validated continuously. For example, developers push their code changes to a shared repository multiple times a day, and automated tests are triggered to verify the code's correctness with each integration. Likewise, we have continuous delivery, also known as continuous deployment principle. DevOps continuously delivers code to staging or production environments, making it ready for release at any time. For example, automatically deploying code to a staging environment after successful C-tests, allowing for manual or automated approval before deploying to production. Also, we have monitoring and feedback principle. It monitors applications and infrastructure in real time to gather data for continuous improvement and rapid issue resolution. For example, using monitoring tools like Prometheus to track system performance and gather feedback on potential bottlenecks, which can then inform infrastructure adjustments. Likewise, we have infrastructure as code principle. It manages and provisions infrastructure using code, enabling consistent and repeatable environments. For example, defining server configurations in code, using tools like Ansible or Terraform, rather than manually configuring servers, ensuring consistency across development, testing, and production environments. At last, we have security principle. It integrates security practices into the DevOps pipeline to identify and address security vulnerabilities early in the development process. For example, automated security scans that check code and infrastructure configurations for vulnerabilities before deployment, reducing the risk of security breaches. You guys are with me, right? So now let's discuss how these principles align with SDLC process. Don't worry, I'll explain you guys with examples. DevOps principles align closely with the software development lifecycle (SDLC) process by enhancing and optimizing various stages of SDLC. Let's explore how each DevOps principle aligns with the SDLC process with examples. So without further delay, let's get started. First of all, let's discuss how automation aligns with SDLC. Automation streamlines tasks across the entire SDLC, reducing manual effort and errors. For example, in the SDLC's build and compile phase, automating code compilation and unit testing using CI/CD pipelines ensures that code is consistently built and tested without human intervention. Similarly, let's discuss how collaboration principle of DevOps aligns with SDLC process. Collaboration improves communication and coordination among cross-functional teams involved in different SDLC phases. For example, during the SDLC process requirements gathering phase, collaboration between business analysts, developers, and testers ensures that requirements are well defined and understood by all parties. Likewise, let's discuss how continuous integration principle of DevOps align with SDLC process. Continuous integration ensures that code changes are integrated continuously and tested throughout the SDLC. For example, in the SDLC's coding phase, developers continuously merge their code changes into a shared repository. Automated CI pipelines then build and test the code with each integration, catching issues early. See, it's get interesting when you are understanding with the help of examples. Now, let's move on to the next principle of DevOps, that is continuous delivery or continuous deployment, and let's see how this principle aligns with SDLC process. CD ensures that code is consistently and automatically deployed, aligning with the SDLC's testing and deployment phases. Let's understand this with an example. After successful testing in the SDLC's testing phase, CD pipelines can automatically deploy the code to staging environments for further testing or to production if approved, streamlining the deployment phase. Now, without further delay, let's move to the next principle of monitoring feedback and see how this aligns with SDLC process. Monitoring and feedback provide insights and data to improve SDLC processes continually. For example, in the SDLC's operations and maintenance phase, monitoring tools collect performance and error data from the production environment, helping teams identify and address issues promptly. Similarly, let's discuss about the principle known as infrastructure as code and see how this align with SDLC process. Infrastructure as code ensures that infrastructure provisioning and configuration are consistent and repeatable, supporting the SDLC's environment setup phase. For example, before the SDLC's testing phase, IAC scripts define the necessary test environment infrastructure. Developers can use the same scripts to recreate the environment in their local development setups. We have now come to the final principle of security. So, without further delay, let's discuss how this principle aligns with SDLC process. Development security operations integrates security practices throughout the SDLC to identify and mitigate vulnerabilities early. For example, in the SDLC's design phase, security experts review and validate the system architecture for potential security weaknesses, allowing for early mitigation. So, with all of these explanations, we can see that by aligning DevOps principles with the SDLC process, organizations can create a more efficient, collaborative, and secure software development and delivery pipeline, ultimately leading to faster and more reliable software releases. That is it. You now know what DevOps really is. If you like our video, make sure to smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, and feel free to give feedbacks and comments. For our next video, we will be clearing concepts on Agile project management, where we can learn how we can manage our project within the Agile framework, including sprint planning, backlog management, and many more. Until then, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep shining bright. This much for today's learning. Remember, in the realm of wisdom, we all have a role. Knowledge is the key to reaching our goal.